Oh, hey, thank you for meeting me. Stubert Morton, Stube for short. So we do need to go over a few things. I don't want to be that guy, but I do have to point out a few of the violations that I've seen here at the park today. So I hope you take this on the chin. There have been complaints about the lack of guardrails. Not sure if you've noticed this. I happen to notice this myself as well while looking around the park here. But there seems to be a complete lack of safety railing around the facility. So that wouldn't always be the biggest issue, but there are a few other things that we will have to point out here. There is a steeply sloped surface along the edge of the entirety of your park, leading to a multi-hundred-foot drop-off. I tried using my rangefinder to check the distance between the theme park and how far the ground is, and it didn't register. It was so far up in the air, I could not register, and it was nerve-wracking getting that close to the edge on account of the lack of the safety railing and the very steep slopes that for some reason your architect thought would be a good idea. There's an area, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, there's an area of your park where the floor is almost as slippery as an ice skating rink, and we'll double back to that. Importantly, there is a lack of fire escape routes, and emergency exits are not indicated anywhere. They're not indicated anywhere. For your stairs, they lack handrails, which you may apparently are not aware that those are legally required, and your stairs, some of them, I'm not saying all of them, lead directly to multi-hundred-foot drop-off, which, again, my rangefinder was not able to detect. So, dangerously narrow walkways, which, again, lack the guardrails. I don't want to have to be the guy that keeps harping on about this topic. Here's an issue. Visitors are trapped in confined areas until they locate 18 hidden stamps. I'm sorry, I just wanted to make sure I had that right, because this is my first time seeing this in any facility, but it looks like that's right. Various areas of the park are accessed by narrow sky bridges that, again, lack guardrails and lead to the multi-hundred-foot drop-off. So you see a pattern here. There's a pattern emerging here. I did notice a lack of overhead lighting in the park, and the only lighting seems to come from overhead neon signs that read quiz, and also fireworks which visitors must launch themselves manually. So these are issues which we will have to address before I can sign off on anything, but just before we get any further, I do want to read some visitor reports. These seem pretty important. Here's a good one. Here's a good one. They threw spiky balls at me. Here's another one. I slipped and slammed my head on the slippery floor area, got a concussion. They called the paramedics for me, but the paramedics weren't allowed to leave the park until they found 18 hidden stamps. So that was a medical complication there. Here's another one. Couldn't find a bathroom, but I learned a lot about magnets. Ended up ruining my new pair of chinos because I couldn't find 18 hidden stamps, and the staff wouldn't let me leave. So I'm sure you have your very good reasons for the stamp thing. Who am I to say? I'm a little out of touch with stamp culture these days. Here's a very concerning feedback from a visitor. They made my son shake maracas for half an hour and wouldn't let him leave until he cried because he wasn't shaking them right. Am I misunderstanding that here? There's another one. This one's also quite concerning. My elderly father with dementia was forced to watch multiple videos simultaneously and was not allowed to leave until he correctly picked which video played at 120 hertz? Does that make sense to you? Because I don't fully understand the logic behind making an old man determine the refresh rate of a video monitor. Oh, here's an interesting one that I hadn't noticed before. My son, dear God, has anybody seen my son? I last saw him sliding around the slippery slope area near the big air intake vents. It's a little concerning. I think I'm just going to underline that one there. I was excited to hear I would get to play Super Mario Bros. 4K. Oh, this might be a good one. The staff let me play something where the image on the screen was the size of a postage stamp. I have late-stage macular degeneration and couldn't see the game and was unable to play it. The staff wouldn't allow me to get closer to the screen, and they kept giggling, "Isn't this cute?" I can't process that. I don't understand what this person is describing here. Look, just one more visitor report here. The list goes on and on here. There was an activity that required visitors to touch 10 colored circles simultaneously using all 10 fingers. Oh, well, this can't be bad. This made my daughter burst into tears because she was born with a physical condition where she only has 8 fingers. She cried so hard and wanted to leave, but the staff wouldn't let her because she hadn't found all 18 hidden stamps. I'm going to be honest with you, I've never seen anything like this. Look, I cannot sign off on your park, but I do know that your parent company is Nintendo, and they have a lot of money and lawyers. So I'm going to sign off on a provisional license. This is provisional, okay? So the agency and I are trusting that you at least get some guardrails in. Please just get some guardrails in. The rest of this stuff, I don't know. I don't understand what I've just seen here.